Hello and welcome to this digital Fika with the work community on the 25th of June 2020. My name is Magnus Aschan and I am the editor-in-chief for Work News. And I'm so happy to have you here live. And you can chat with us during this live session and we will see your comments and we can pick them up. So the agenda for today is that we will live stream for about 15 to 20 minutes. And after that, we will move to Zoom, where you can meet other participants and you continue to interact. And we're going to have a few questions for you. So the agenda for today is that we're going to talk about some fact-based optimistic news that we have reported on recently. And we will also have an interview where we will interview volunteers and the community members. We also have a question for you in the audience, and that is what you would like to talk about when we go into the actual Fika session where you get to meet people and discuss. So is there anything positive that you would like to share? Try to think about one topic as we go through this live session, and you will be ready to discuss that when we enter the Fika stage. So what is a digital Fika? So after the live session, we're going to meet up in Zoom, and we're going to talk, and we're going to have a good time. So Fika is actually a Swedish word. It means having a coffee or some other kind of beverage with someone, and most oftentimes you also have something sweet to chew on. But it's more than that. It's also a verb and something that is a big part of Swedish culture. So if you go to IKEA, for instance, you can have a Fika. So we would like to invite you in the work community to have a Fika with us. So with that said, we're going to enter our first part of the agenda, which is the fact-based optimistic news part. So with that, I would like to just briefly mention what Work News is. So we are a news outlet, and as you can see, we have several different websites, both in Swedish and English. We're also present, of course, in social media channels where you're watching this right now. We have weekly podcasts, and we also have the newsletters. All of this can be watched and listened to both in English and in Swedish. So with that, I would like to present our first guest. This person you're going to meet, he's the co-founder of the US edition of Warp Institute. And we're going to talk about the Green Wall of Africa. Welcome, Rich Spuller.
Hey, how are you? Great to be here. So yeah, like Magnus said, my name is Rich Spuller, and I head up Warp Institute over here in the United States. And I've been working with Matthias and Magnus for a little over a year now, and just having a really good time building this out and then growing it into a true global community.
Great. So we reported on something called the Green Wall of Africa.
Yeah.
Can you explain what this is?
Yeah. So it's really an incredible ambition, and what's happening over in Africa, it's actually been in the works since about 2007 now, but they're creating a natural wonder of the world by building a forest, if you will, barrier across the entire continent of Africa. And the purpose of it is to create a belt, if you will, a barrier that separates the very arid northern regions of the Sahara Desert from the very humid regions of the savanna to the south of it. And it's got incredible positive implications on combating climate change. It's creating tens of millions of jobs. It's giving people reason to not have to migrate out of need for dwindling natural resources. Combating poverty, hunger, eliminating need for wars and conflicts that very commonly over there are over, a dwindling number of natural resources. So there's a coalition behind this that includes 21 African nations. It's backed by the United Nations, and they're looking to have this finished by 2030. So pretty quick in the grand scheme of things to create kind of a human-made natural wonder of the world.
So how far have they come so far, so to speak? How many trees have been planted?
Surprisingly, not incredibly far yet. They're about 15% in since this began in 2007, but it's gained an incredible amount of traction and support, both with financial support and political backings, and the UN hopping in really helped things. And now, like I said, there's a total of 21 African nations, all the way from the west coast on Senegal over to the east coast of Ethiopia. So they want to make up that remaining 85% in the next 10 years. And it's looking pretty promising because they've brought on a ton of support to see this through.
Awesome. And we got really good response on this news from our community. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, so anything related to the environment is really popular in the work community, of course, because it's one of the things that anybody can participate in, regardless of their lot in life, if you will. It doesn't take much to be able to contribute to a better environment. So it's really something people feel like they can wrap their hands around and participate in. And stories like this are really, our green tech community branch of Warp News, if you will, has always been extremely popular for these reasons.
Excellent. Thank you so much for reporting on this. Yeah, and we will go actually from the trees from Africa straight into space. And with that, I would like to introduce Matthias Sundin, who is the founder of Warp News. Hello, Matthias.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're all good? You look comfortable there.
Yeah, I do. It's nice weather, and but I'm inside now for now. But that's okay. I'm talking to you about space.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Looks like you're reading a bit more than I am. These are all my books.
Yeah, just keep going at it. You'll get there.
Right. We reported on the SpaceX launch, and you're a bit of a space nerd, so I thought you were the perfect person to explain a bit about what actually happened and what effects this might have in the long run.
Yeah. So the SpaceX launch recently, you could see the beautiful Crew Dragon. So that was the first private company launching astronauts into orbit. The SpaceX has been doing launches into space before, but not with humans on board. They sent stuff there and sent material to the space station, but now they send two dads to the space station, and it's Crew Dragon, and these are the dads that went up there. So that was the first time in history this happened. And that's a big deal. It used to be superpowers. In the 60s, it was superpowers, the United States versus the Soviet Union, and some other nations, Sweden and a number of other nations. But you had to be a nation to be involved in space. You couldn't be a private individual or private company. But that's completely changing now. And the SpaceX really took the big step towards this with this beautiful launch day they did. And
go back just two pictures and just have a short look at the cockpit there, because that's actually something that is incredibly improved since the last time the US sent astronauts into space. Now they're all touch screens.
Exactly.
So can you just shortly elaborate a bit what's actually happened here?
Yeah, so both the suits doesn't look like they used to. These are new suits, looking cooler, and they have touchscreens now. So I guess it's sort of like driving a Tesla, something similar. So yeah, they completely evolved this and thought in new ways, and that's the really great thing when you have different people, companies doing this. Blue Origin with Jeff Bezos is also building a new big rocket, New Glenn, to also launch eventually humans into space and going to the moon. So it's really good when you don't only have nations. Of course, nations are much involved. They funded this trip, for example, but you have private companies doing these things, and that creates progress. And the other progress, of course, with SpaceX is that they land the rockets, not crash land. They land them and they use them again to launch again. So that will drive down cost of space flight. So actually, in a few years, you and me, Magnus, and a lot of other people could go to space for as little as $2,000. Would you go for that amount?
Definitely.
Yeah, me too.
It's a dream of mine, and I'm hoping. I was hoping for going when I turn 50, but it might be a bit too optimistic now, even for me. But I'm still hopeful.
Yeah. Okay. 55 then. Okay.
Yeah, 55. That's good.
So yeah, the reasoning behind this, why costs are declining so rapidly, is of course because you land and reuse the rockets, and going Earth to Earth. This is Earth to Earth, so this is not orbit. Going to orbit is more expensive, and will be more expensive, even if the cost will decline a lot even there. But going to different places, from New York to Singapore or something like that in 45 minutes, that's absolutely possible to do, and that's what SpaceX are working towards. Even Virgin Galactic is working towards that. I'm sure Blue Origin will get there also. So because the cost of fuel is not that high, so if you have 100 people that can pay $2,000, you can get somewhere. And this is $2,000 is of course very expensive, but there's a lot of people out there paying much more to go just first class between, extra super first class between, New York, Singapore, New York, Hong Kong, those kind of trips. So I just wanted to show you a video here of the sort of the vision for SpaceX on, Earth to Earth travel.
So that was some vision, Matthias. We have some questions about propellant, but I hope you can answer those questions when we enter the actual Fika stage in Zoom. So I hope you can join us shortly there. So with that, thank you both Rich and Matthias for elaborating a bit on a few of the news pieces that we reported on recently. Now I would like you to introduce you to one of our volunteers, Linn Vinge. Please welcome to the show, Linn.
Hey, thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much.
Oh.
So I'm interested to know, why did you become a volunteer with Warp? Can you just briefly talk a bit about your background and why you got interested in joining us?
Yeah, sure. I wanted to join Warp because I believe people need good and optimistic news to get inspired and want to make a difference. And I almost never read, ordinary news because it bumps me out and I feel like there's no hope, And I wrote for our school newspaper And then I noticed that I always chose the positive news and the optimistic news. And even if I had to write something more negative, I always tried to find a positive outlook. So because I didn't want people to feel, when they were done reading, feel hopeless or feel like nobody's doing anything or so.
Excellent. So that's a perfect match for the Warp Institute.
Yeah.
So how do you look at the future?
I believe, I personally believe the future is bright, but I also believe people need a little push, something to motivate them or just point them in the right direction. And then positive news feels like a very, very good alternative to that, because it's very easy. You can just share it, and maybe you can inspire someone else to want to make a difference too. And then maybe they start to read more and more and share more and more, and then people will see that other people are actually doing things, not just sitting around waiting for someone else to take charge and do something.
Right.
And then
that makes me think of a movie called Pass It Forward, where you do a good deed and you pass it forward to someone, and that person has to pass it on further.
Yeah, exactly like that. And then I remember we had a seminar in school, and these scientists came and talked to us, and they told us all the problems, and they showed us data and statistics and everything of how bad the situation is. And then they just said that we could talk to the shrink at school if you wanted to, and then they just left. And the feeling I had after that was awful, and I don't want to feel like that, and I don't think anyone wants to feel like that. But fortunately, me and my friends had done our own research, so we knew that people are doing things and their inventions and things to like speed up the process and to make the future more bright.
Excellent. So what possibilities do you see for yourself personally and for humanity?
I truly hope that now, after the corona crisis, and when we have seen what happens to the environment when we take a step back, how everything has become a bit better, I hope that will show people that maybe if we just calm down and try to think about how to make everything more better and more environmental friendly, the future will be more bright. And I personally hope that my children and my grandchildren can see the world as a very, very beautiful place, and not like a project that needs to be fixed.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lynn. And you will come with us to the Zoom call afterwards for the Fika. So I'm looking forward to meet you and discuss more there. So with that, I would like to talk about a few upcoming events. And I actually have my friend Rich back with me to explain what we're doing next. Rich, can you take it away?
Of course. So we're going to be doing a couple of events in July, very similar to what we've done so far in June. The next event that's coming up is going to be on Tuesday, July 14th, and it is a WIP lightning talk. And this is going to be our second lightning talk. We had our first one last Wednesday. It was absolutely fantastic. And what a lightning talk is we bring people from our premium WIP community, which WIP stands for Warp Important Person. So kind of like our little spin on a VIP. And people from that WIP community come in and they talk about what they're experts in. And it's really interesting. It's a fun way to get to know one another in the community. Last Wednesday, we learned about satellite observation of the Earth. We learned about hydraulics and why it's so critical to life. We even learned about James Bond and how he made the future come sooner in his own way. So our next lightning talk, again, is going to be Tuesday, June 14th. So if you're a WIP member, that is for you. If you're not a WIP member and you'd like to check out our premium community and how you can join and how your support makes these things that we do possible, head on over to warpinstitute.org/WIP and you can check it out there. You get your first month free, and I highly encourage it. You get much more than just premium content. You really make an impact on all of these things that we're striving to do with the Warp Institute. So last time,
you can get a t-shirt too.
And you get a t-shirt. You get a great t-shirt, yes. So that's Tuesday, June 14th for the next WHIP lightning talk. And then on Wednesday, July 22nd, we're having the next digital Fika, which is going to be similar to what we did today in agenda, but we'll of course have some new content, some new guests. We're going to be doing these Fikas once a month, along with the lightning talks once a month. So we hope you guys can come to each of them.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, Rich. And thank you, Lynn and Matthias, for participating. So now we will enter the actual Fika stage, where we will meet everybody and you can discuss with each other. And we use Zoom for that. And you have a link in your social media channel of choice. You have a link to this Zoom call. So I'm really looking forward to meeting you there. And there you will also meet our new host, Ulrika. So thank you so much for watching and have an excellent day. Bye-bye.